This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss of WDWNT.com. Here now are the top Disney park stories from around the world for May 11th, 2022. Disney Parks experiences and products pulled a revenue of $6.7 billion in the second quarter of 2022. In the same quarter of 2021, they only made $3.2 billion. The domestic revenue was $4.9 billion, only up slightly from last quarter, but a significant increase from the $1.7 billion last year. Disneyland Paris, which was closed the entire quarter of last year but opened this year, made $0.9 billion in revenue. The overall income for Disney Parks was $1.8 billion. Disney reiterated what they said last quarter, which is that their domestic parks have seen a more favorable guest and ticket mix. Genie Plus, which guests can purchase as an add-on for $15, as well as an increase in ticket prices, also contributed to this quarter's revenue increase. CEO Bob Chapek praised the domestic Disney parks for revenue growth and attributed the $4.9 billion in revenue to strong demand with customized and personalized guest experience enhancements, i.e., again, Genie Plus, leading to a 40% rise in per capita spending. It also grew 20% since Q1 of this year. An increase in guest spending could be attributed to increases in costs across the company, including admission, food and beverage, and merchandise. More price increases are on the horizon, as seen by the ticket prices for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, which go on sale to resort guests tomorrow. Today's Q2 earnings report was the first to include results from the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. CEO Bob Chapek boasted strong demand continuing. He cited an expectation for the two-night experience to reach 100% utilization for the third quarter, meaning they expect the Star Cruiser to continue to reach capacity for each voyage. Nearly 700 lots from one of the most significant assemblages of actual park displayed signs, props, artifacts, and more from Disneyland and the theme parks around the world will be offered May 21st and 22nd in Heritage Auctions Disneyland The Auction Signature Auction. It's a lot of auction. The founder of the collection, Scott Rummel, is instantly recognizable, even to those who don't know his name. He's a renowned voice actor who has lent his voice to everything from Marvel movie trailers to countless commercials and voiceovers on networks ranging from CBS to CNN. Disneyland was part of Scott's life since he was a young lad. His wife, Terry, collected Donald Duck memorabilia, and in 1982, they were married. His parents gave the young couple annual passes, after which Disney wasn't something we did, Scott says. It became our lifestyle. At one point, we had one room that was our Disney room. That was where we had it all displayed. When we moved into the house, we thought it was crazy to have all these posters rolled up in tubes, so we hired people who worked for Disney to redesign the house specifically for the collection. It was really awesome what they did with certain pieces in mind. It became something that was really special. We loved to open up the house. We had events for children's hospitals and other organizations. A lot of people who love Disney came to the house. People ask, how can you let the collection go? And it's a valid question. I feel a little bit like an artist who spends considerable time on a painting and then sells it. You have time and energy invested, but it's time to share it with other people. The sale includes a complete park-used original Autopia car with the body, chassis, and tires, the first car he ever drove, said Scott. Used at Disneyland and acquired directly from the park, it's believed to be the only single Autopia vehicle to ever come to auction with all the original components present. The engine's not included for legal reasons. And among the rarest Disney attraction vehicles, a park-used original Skyway bucket from Disneyland that was used from 1956 to 1994. Carried guests in the skies will be available as well. Walt Disney famously loved trains, a passion Scott shared, and the sale includes 37 train-themed lots from a park-used railroad train wheel to an LGB Big Thunder Mountain starter train set with box and manual. Back in the day, when entering one of the Disney parks, one of the first things you had to grab was a ticket book, which included tickets for the day's rides. This sale includes 17 lots of tickets, including a complete 1956 Disneyland ticket book. For the record, that is the second year that the park was open. For images and information on all the lots in this sale, visit ha.com/7258. I know I will be bidding on some things, and I know none of you are surprised by that. Not any ride vehicles, though. I don't have that budget. A federal judge has officially dismissed the case against Governor Ron DeSantis filed by Osceola County taxpayers, according to the Orlando Sentinel. The lawsuit alleged that the bill signed into law by Governor DeSantis to dissolve the Reedy Creek Improvement District violated the Taxpayer Bill of Rights. The residents' concern is that they and other taxpayers will have to shoulder the $1 billion in bond debt if Reedy Creek is dissolved. Experts have estimated that Disney's bond debt is between $1 and $2 billion, which would likely be transferred to the residents of the local counties, increasing their property taxes by up to $2,200. The lawsuit was dismissed because the law in question does not take effect until 2023, and the federal court does not have jurisdiction over a state issue. The judge also said that the law would have no direct effect on the plaintiffs. The plaintiff's lawyer intends to refile the lawsuit. The Reedy Creek fire chief recently enacted a new policy that may delay emergency assistance at Walt Disney World, according to union representatives. According to the Orlando Sentinel, an April 11th internal email provided by Union Chief John Sheery prohibits the Reedy Creek Fire Department from requesting assistance from neighboring fire departments for non-emergency transports, medical calls, or supplement responses to such calls such as structure fires. The department can still request assistance from the Orange and Osceola County Fire Rescues for emergencies, but communications staff who take the calls have to notify their commanders of the request. A grievance has been filed, claiming that the new policy violates the existing contract. Negotiations are ongoing. Sheery told the Sentinel that the policy, quote, could delay critical care, and firefighters are already seeing its effects. He cited situations that begin as or appear as the first to be non-emergencies, but rapidly worsen. Quote, it's just going to lead to bad outcomes, said Sheery. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Sheery spoke about a call he responded to on December 22nd about a woman who had fallen on the road near Disney's Art of Animation Resort. When he and other firefighters arrived, they discovered that she had jumped from a moving car. She was taken to the Orlando Regional Medical Center by Orange County paramedics about half an hour after the original call. Under the new policy, she likely would have to wait longer for a Reedy Creek ambulance. Quote, there is a very significant difference there, Sheery said, but the system doesn't pick that up, or maybe didn't have that information at the time. After the new policy was put in place, a 13-year-old with a head injury had to wait a half an hour for a Reedy Creek ambulance on April 15th. The teen had fainted and hit his head at Epcot at around 10:16 a.m. First responders arrived about 4 minutes, but an ambulance was not available until 10:46. In audio from the call, a responder said, quote, if he deteriorates, I'll just take him in my truck. The dispatcher referenced the new policy and stated, quote, you have to wait until a rescue becomes available. According to Reedy Creek spokeswoman Erica Washington Perry, the dispatcher determined it was not an emergency, which a paramedic at the scene confirmed. The patient was conscious while waiting for an ambulance and being monitored. Sheery worries that guests will blame the first responders for delays. Quote, they're going to wonder why we took so long and why we weren't there quicker to deal with this problem, he said. And we could say, oh, it's our chief's fault, but tell that to the family of someone who's going through a medical problem. They don't want to hear excuses. They want you to fix whatever's going on. News Today is brought to you by the Sunshine Flyer, the new 1920s rail-themed transportation from Orlando International Airport to the Walt Disney World Resort hotels. Start your vacation experience as soon as you step off the plane with motor coaches that create the atmosphere of old-fashioned passenger cars. No two vehicle designs are the same. Round trip is $34 for adults and just $25 for children. 2 and under ride free. To reserve, visit sunshineflyer.com. Yesterday, we reported that 2 guests, including one that eyewitnesses claimed to be a young adult or minor, were arrested at the Magic Kingdom Monday evening. Now reports from guests and cast members indicate that the 2 men were confronted by Disney security and local Sheriff's Department officers after stealing from guests' strollers in the park. Several guests reported thefts, including a wallet. It's unclear how security and the officers identified the 2 suspects, but the reports indicate that the arrests were related. In the video posted on TikTok by Natalie Curling, a young man is handcuffed with his arms straight out behind him, and an officer is leading him down a path of the hub at the Magic Kingdom. Another man, possibly his father, was also arrested. Disney warns guests that the company is not responsible for lost or stolen items. The moral of the story, don't leave your wallet in your stroller. That's, you know, I understand. I grew up in New York, so we don't leave any. If we had a stroller at ECV, we don't leave anything. Some people are from places where, you know, you leave your front door unlocked. It's a different way of life. I will tell you, if you come to Disney World, act like a New Yorker. Take your stuff with you. That's a bad. Also, don't leave food in it either, because the squirrels could be as bad as these guys. I've seen squirrels rip apart people's strollers in ECVs. So, moral of the story, don't leave anything. Guests continue to escalate to violence at the most magical place on earth. That's what it's called, Bob. as another brawl broke out at the Magic Kingdom last month near the ferry boats. Every time with the ferry boats. A group of brothers, grown men, came to blows while waiting for the ferry. It took law enforcement to break up the fight, according to the Orange County Sheriff's arrest report that details the latest incident of guests behaving badly. Quote, all three defendants were engaged in mutual combat in a public place and did cause people to stop their travel and watch as the defendants physically fought in front of the Magic Kingdom. Boy. The incident happened just after 9 p.m. on April 3rd, according to the report. The brothers who were visiting from the Atlanta area were ages 26, 28, and 33. The melee broke out 10 feet away from where a sheriff's deputy was on patrol. Quote, I could see several males fighting and other males attempting to break up the fight. The deputy wrote, it was unclear who started the physical altercation, but it was clear that several people were fighting at once with no disregard for public safety. We presume he meant to say regard. No one was seriously injured, according to the report. One of the brothers was unable to calm down and was secured until patrol units arrived. Why were the brothers fighting? Well, it's unclear. Deputies didn't know since the brothers refused to speak to authorities or give any written statements afterwards. Two of the brothers were arrested for domestic violence and were taken to jail without any problems. The third brother was not arrested because he was the parent of a young child, but charges were forwarded to the state attorney's office, the report noted. However, the men won't face any legal consequences. The state's attorney office decided not to press any criminal charges, which is why they're not identifying the men involved. I've lost count of the ferry boat related fights at this point, but I'm going to call back to this again. I do think that this rise in fighting, even amongst people who are related to each other, is directly related to the costs and anxiety related to a day at Disney World. I think as the costs continue to grow and the anxiety is there for you to do as much as you can for the cost, I think it puts a lot of pressure on people. I think people are stressed out, and I think this is what happens. I know I read some tweets yesterday from people at Disneyland that just waiting for the tram, people were in a foul mood and getting angsty. So I think it's directly related. I have to believe there's a direct correlation. 4 new split building sketchbook ornaments have arrived at Disney World. These ornaments are inspired by iconic Walt Disney World buildings, but feature them split open to show a scene from inside. The new ones are inspired by Pirates of the Caribbean, Space Mountain, the Main Street train station. Remember that, kids? Remember the train? And Under the Sea, Journey of the Little Mermaid. They are $29.99 each. We found them at Ye Olde Christmas Shop in the Magic Kingdom and Celebrity 5 and Dime at Hollywood Studios. Fantasmic is returning to Hollywood Studios later this year, and a new scene will be part of it, as well as technical enhancements. We now know that the technical enhancements refer to upgrades to the lighting, the audio, and the projection systems for the show, all of which will be used in the new scene and beyond. We'll see these updates whenever the show returns. Again, we have been given no date. A flock of seagulls will no longer be able to perform during the Garden Rocks concert series at the 2022 Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival. They've been removed from the schedule and replaced with Tony Orlando on May 20th and 21st. Guests who have a Garden Rocks dining package booked for one of those days should be getting an email regarding the change. A Spirit jersey celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Main Street Electrical Parade has pulled into Walt Disney World. The Electrical Parade recently returned to Disneyland. The Spirit jersey is $74.99. It's black. It has Mickey with a baton leading the parade. And the back reads, Disneyland Main Street Electrical Parade 50th Anniversary in various fonts and colors. Electrical Parade has white dots at the edges to look like light bulbs. Elliot the Dragon is also on the back with a string of musical notes encircling him. He also has light bulb dots on him. The Spirit jersey even glows in the dark. A new water bottle inspired by Epcot and Harmonious has arrived at the Creation Shop. It's $24.99. The Harmonious logo, featuring Spaceship Earth surrounded by the silhouettes of Disney characters and the World Showcase buildings, is on one side. More images of iconic World Showcase buildings are around the rest of the bottle, and then Epcot is on the opposite side. A new mini ear headband has arrived in the Mexico Pavilion at Epcot. This embroidered ear headband matches other colorful merchandise that was released at the pavilion in the past few months. It costs $29.99. The base fabric is white with pink stitching on the edges. The bow is mostly pink with stripes of yellow, orange, and blue, and the ears are embroidered with flowers and other shapes reminiscent of traditional Mexican clothing. There are also a few hidden Mickeys. The embroidery continues down the sides, and the inside of the headband is pink velour. The embroidery is also on the back. Disney's All-Star Sports Resort is set to receive room refurbishments. The other hotels in the All-Star series have had their refurbishments completed. And while Plan Disney stated that sports was still on the roster, very few, if any, rooms have actually been refurbished. The resort reopened in March of 2022, shockingly without refurbished rooms. Everyone assumed while it was closed, this was being done. But either way, according to crew members involved in the project, the delay was due to supply chain issues and product quality. Disney decided to go ahead and reopen the resort, hoping to come back to the project at a later date. Well, that later date has arrived. They've begun the refurbishment with buildings 7 and 10, that's football. No time frame for the completion of the project has been given. Air Canada is continuing their celebration of the 50th anniversary of Disney World with a newly themed kids' room in the Toronto Pearson International Airport. It can be found at the Maple Leaf Lounge. Travelers will be able to enjoy Disney-themed activities in the room and a photo op corner with oversized travel items and magical graphics that allow kids and parents alike to begin imagining Air Canada as their direct connection to the magic of the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. You don't have to imagine. I'm sure you could book a flight. Seems possible. In addition, the photo booth will be brought back to select airports in Canada this summer. Aeroplan members can redeem their Aeroplan points for flights to Orlando with Air Canada, an entire Walt Disney World vacation package with Air Canada Vacations, or Disney merchandise and Disney gift cards starting at $100 Canadian on the Aeroplan e-store. Walt Disney World has donated $30,000 to Give Kids the World Village with help from their guests who make wishes at water features throughout the resort. Coins from Cinderella's Wishing Well at the Magic Kingdom and other fountains and waterways throughout Walt Disney World are collected periodically, and they're donated to Make-A-Wish and also Give Kids the World Village. Give Kids the World Village was established in 1986 as a place for wish kids and their families to stay and play when visiting the Walt Disney World Resort and other Orlando destinations. It's a nice bit of news to end on. For the absolute latest Disney Parks news, head on over to WDWNT.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, The Vacationeer, the engineers of your next magical vacation. Sit back and let their team of vacation planning experts craft your family's next trip. The best part, their services are free. Visit WDWNT.travel for details. If you're enjoying the show, be sure to like this video, subscribe to WDW News Today on YouTube for more content, and click the bell for notifications. Also, hit select all notifications so you never miss an episode of the show. You can also support the entire team behind this show by joining the WDWNT Interglobe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Special shout out to our wigs watching today. Also a shout out to Carousel Products at carouselproducts.com. We still have, there's only 2 sizes left, but we still have these wonderful Rebecca the Male Black Swan shirts, remembering our feathered friend from Animal Kingdom who's no longer with us. 100% of the proceeds from this go to the Disney Worldwide Conservation Fund. Again, only 2 sizes left. They're almost history. We don't remake any shirts. Once they're gone, they're gone. Speaking of that, we are down to our last of the Sci-Fi Dine-In button-down shirts. It's our first button-down we've done, so make sure you pick that up as well. Both available and more at carouselproducts.com. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying, enjoy the rest of your today and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
Welcome to Unplanned Downtime, a new home for creative, innovative, and outlandish programming made for Disney fans, including Cosmic Read Live, discussions and Imagineering attractions, Deep in the Plus, reviewing the catalog on Disney Plus, Ink and Paint, celebrating female voices in the Disney fandom, Boxed In, opening mystery packages and viewer mail, Picky Eaters, trying to eat our way across Disney restaurants, WDWNT The RPG, a tabletop adventure set in Tokyo Disney Sea, and more of your favorites. Subscribe now at unplanneddowntime.com. Remember, it's not an accident, it's unplanned downtime.